If you're running a small business in Canada, I'm sure you know the feeling. You've got this great idea, you're putting in the work, but man, you just keep hitting a wall when it comes to getting funded. Well, today we're going to pull back the curtain on a potential game changer, the Canada Small Business Financing Program. Yeah, it's a bit of a mouthful. We'll call it the CSBFP, and it could be the very key to unlocking your business's future. And look, you're not imagining things. Getting capital is a massive hurdle for small businesses everywhere in Canada. You have to see it from the bank side, right? To them, a small business can feel like a real gamble. They're squinting at your cash flow, they're wondering if you have enough collateral, and they're trying to figure out if you can actually make those payments month after month. It's a tough spot to be in, for sure. So here's how we're going to break this all down. First, we'll tackle the why. Why is this so difficult? Then we're diving into the how. How does the CSBFB thing actually work? We'll check out some really exciting new upgrades, map out a solid application game plan, and this is important. We'll look at exactly why lenders sometimes say no. By the time we're done, you'll know if this is the right move for you. All right, we've set the stage, we know the problem, so let's talk about the solution. The CSBFP is basically the Canadian government's way of trying to level the playing field for small businesses. The whole idea is to shift the risk so that lenders can feel a whole lot more comfortable saying yes to your big ideas. This right here, this is the secret sauce. It all comes down to the loan guarantee. This is the magic ingredient in the whole program. See, the government isn't just handing out cash. What they are doing is making a promise to your bank, and that promise takes a huge amount of risk off the table for the lender, which suddenly makes your application look a lot more attractive. Okay, this is probably the biggest misconception out there, so it's really important to get this straight. You're not actually getting a loan from the government. The government's role is to share the risk. They tell the bank, hey, if this doesn't work out, we'll cover 85% of your losses. But it's your bank or your credit union that's providing the actual money. They make all the final decisions, so you still have to convince them that you're a good bet. Okay, now for the really good part. In 2022, the CSBFP got a major facelift, making it way more powerful for businesses just like yours. Let's take a look at what's on the table now. And there it is. That's the big number. A single business can now get up to $1.15 million in total financing through this program. That's a huge increase, and it really opens the door to some serious growth. So how does that $1 million+ actually break down? Well, you've got two main tools in the toolbox. First up is the term loan. You can get up to $1 million for those big ticket items. Think real estate, major equipment, that sort of thing. Then, and this is a real game changer, there's a line of credit of up to $150,000 for all those day-to-day operating expenses. And you gotta love those interest rate caps, right? That gives you some real protection against soaring rates. You know, these 2022 upgrades were just massive. That line of credit we mentioned, that's a huge win for managing your cash flow. But what's really, really smart is that you can now finance intangible assets. We're talking software, patents, intellectual property, even just working capital. It means the program isn't just for businesses buying big, heavy stuff anymore. It's built for the way businesses actually work today. So what can you actually spend this money on? The list is pretty long. You've got commercial real estate, newer used equipment, renovations, and all those intangible assets we just mentioned. But here's a really cool little bonus. You can actually get financing for eligible purchases you've already made, as long as it was in the last year. So if you had to buy a critical piece of equipment 6 months ago, this program could help you get that cash back into your business. Okay, you get what it is, you see what you can get. So how do you actually do it? Let's build your game plan to go from needing the money to actually having it in your account. It really boils down to 5 key steps. Step 1, just make sure you're eligible. Basically, you're a for-profit business in Canada with revenues under $10 million a year. Step 2 is absolutely critical, and we're going to talk a lot more about it. Get your paperwork in order. Then you'll choose a lender, hand in your application, and if everything looks good, you're on your way to getting funded. Listen, I can't say this enough. You have to be prepared. You can't just stroll into a bank and expect a check. You need to show up with a rock-solid business plan that tells a clear, compelling story about your future. You need financial projections, credit reports, bank statements, tax returns, the whole shebang. And if you're buying something specific, you better have the quotes to prove the cost. This quote just hits the nail on the head. Your application is so much more than a stack of papers. It's a test. It's a reflection of how you run your business. If it's a mess, they're going to assume your business is a mess. It's that simple. You have to show them you're a professional who can be trusted with their money. Okay, let's flip this around for a minute. The best way to get a yes is to understand why people get a no. So let's look at the most common reasons applications get rejected so you can sidestep those pitfalls completely. Thanks to Statistics Canada, we have some really good data on this. And look at that. The number one reason, by a long shot, is weak cash flow. Now, the CSBFP is designed to help with that second reason, not enough collateral, but you still have to prove you have money coming in the door. Poor credit is another big one. This chart is basically your cheat sheet. It shows you exactly what the lender is worried about. First up, the business plan. This is your moment to prove you know your stuff. If your plan is vague or unrealistic or just doesn't show a clear path to making money, that's a massive red flag. You have to prove you've thought this through. And here we are again, back at the number one reason for denial: cash flow. Lenders want to see steady, consistent revenue. One amazing month followed by 11 slow ones, that makes them really, really nervous. You need to prove with documents that you can comfortably make that loan payment every single month. And here it is again. It all comes back to being professional. Messy, incomplete paperwork sends one simple message: you're a risk. A clean, perfectly organized application shows that you're on top of your game. And finally, you can't forget about your personal credit history and any debt you're already carrying. A low credit score can sink your application before it even gets started. And lenders are going to look at how much you already owe. If they don't think you can handle one more payment on top of everything else, they're going to say no. It's just simple math to them.
So, after all that, the big question is the CSBFP the right tool for your business right now? It's a fantastic option, but believe me, it's not the only option out there.
This is a great way to think about the trade-offs. Let's say you need a new piece of equipment. With a CSBFP loan, you'll probably get a better interest rate. But the bank's process can be slow. It can feel like wading through mud sometimes. An equipment lease, on the other hand, is usually way faster, way more flexible, but yeah, you'll probably pay a higher rate. So what's more important to you right now, the lowest rate or getting it done fast? No matter which path you take, you have to go in with your eyes wide open. Before you sign anything, here are the questions you absolutely have to ask. How much cash do I need right now, up front, including all the fees? What happens if I want to pay this thing off early? What exactly are you taking as security? Do I have to personally guarantee this? And is the thing I'm trying to buy 100% eligible? Get these answers in writing. At the end of the day, a loan application isn't just a bunch of numbers and forms. It's the story of your business's next chapter. It's your chance to show a lender where you've been, but more importantly, where you're going. So take the time to get it right. Make it a story that's impossible not to invest in.